Hello, math fans. Continuing here, I'm just going to talk about the part where you're trying to identify the form. I just did the video where I talked about the sum, and I grabbed these 10 examples from our exam archive. You can click on extra derivative practice. But I'm just going to talk about what about products. So of these 10, you should look through and see if any of them look like the product of two things. So in the big picture, can you put a dot between them? Not this first one, that looks like a quotient. So we can put a dot right there. We can put a dot right here. We can put a dot right there. So these ones are going to have, in our very first step, the product rule. And I haven't looked beyond that. So let's grab one and let's do a quick review of how the product rule goes. You know, if I have x squared plus x to the third plus 2, and I'm multiplying that by 3x to the fifth minus 7x to the 10th, the product rule, remember, says this is the first, this is the second. You do first times derivative of the second plus the derivative of the first times the second. So you do first times the derivative of the second, 15x to the fourth minus 70x to the ninth, plus the derivative of the first, 2x plus 3x squared, times the second, 3x to the fifth minus 7x to the 10th. Done. It's not pretty, but we can do it. So for these problems, it sometimes in the process of doing that, you have to do other things. Let's erase that. You can rewind it if you want to do it. But let's just talk about the part that has to do with the product rule. So here I have first and second. Yeah, they're more complicated, but we can do it. Okay, so up here I'm going to write y prime is first times the derivative of the second plus, and then we're going to write the derivative of the first times the second. Now, at this moment, I have a new job to do. And that new job is to figure out what is the derivative of x plus 3 to the 6th. And I have to hold it up to these three things and ask myself, which one is it? Or sum. Is it a sum? Is it a product? Is it a quotient? Or is it a chain rule? It's a chain rule. Now the chain rule I'll probably make a devoted video to, but I'm going to use a little bit of it here. So the derivative rule is the same power rule. The reason we call it the chain rule is you use the power rule on the outside and you leave the inside alone, and then you multiply times the derivative of the inside. So in this case it would be 6x plus 3 to the fifth times whatever the derivative of the inside is, which in this case is just 1. So right here we would have 6x plus 3 to the fifth. Similarly, we would have the derivative of the first thing here. So it's going to be 8x plus 2 to the 7th times the derivative of the inside, which is 1. But I just wanted to focus on the product rule piece of it. And so we would have the same idea in these other ones. So let's just grab another one. How about this one? And let's write y prime is first, which is x, times the derivative of the second, plus the derivative of the first times the second. Then I'd go back and I would say, okay, the derivative of the first is 1. The derivative of the second is the derivative of this thing. So yet another chain rule. So it's going to be 1/4 1 plus x squared to the negative 3/4. What I just did there was a fourth minus 1 times the derivative of the inside, which is 2x. Again, I'll try to make a separate video that's just about the chain rule if you're confused about that piece. Here's the other one that's like this, y prime. You would write down the first. I'm just trying to give a huge number of examples here. Plus derivative of the first, I'm copying down the second. And then you'd have two smaller jobs to do. Once again, this is from our exam review, so that's why it has a combination of the rules. But now we're going to do the derivative of this, which is going to be however you do the derivative of the 8th power, which is that, times the derivative inside, which is 3. Here you'd be taking the derivative of the first, so it's going to be 2x squared plus 6 to the 1 times 2x. Okay, I hope that's helpful. That's just about the product rule. And we had to unfortunately do a little bit of the chain rule, but I'll make a separate video about quotients.